Good morning, dear students. Last class we discussed about different types of equilibrium constant, that is Kc, Kp and Kx, and also we have found out what is the interrelationship between them. And we discussed also how to represent the equilibrium constant for homogeneous system and a heterogeneous system. Okay. Now let us discuss solve some numerical problems relating to equilibrium. Okay. So there are three questions. Let us start from the last one. The value of Kc for the reaction at 1069 Kelvin to NOCl give rise to 2NO gas plus Cl2 gas is 3.75 10 to minus 6. Calculate the value of Kp at the same temperature. Okay. So the equation is 2. So answer of 3. 2NOCl gas give rise to 2NO gas plus Cl2 gas. So all are in gaseous form. What is the value of del Mg, product minus reactant? So here 2, here 2 plus 1 3, and here 2, it is 3 minus 2, it is equal to 1. Okay, and again we know that is Kp is equal to Kc RT to the power del Mg. So what is the value of Kc? The value of Kc is 3.75 10 to the power minus 6. 3.75 10 to the power minus 6 into R. R has reference value. So you know if the percentage, either you can put R in terms of liter, atmosphere, Kelvin inverse, mole inverse, or in terms of var, or in terms of Pascal. So for TME we use the value of R. In that way the answer will come. Okay. So suppose here for the value of R I am substituting the value 0.0821 liter, atmosphere, Kelvin inverse, mole inverse, and you know this unit is as 1, this unit is mole per liter. So mole per liter, mole liter, this will cancel. And T temperature is given, that is 1069 Kelvin, and into 1069 Kelvin. So in this it is Kelvin term and Kelvin term also cancels in it. So only the answer will come in atmosphere. Okay. In physical chemistry it is very important to mention what are the units. So in this way just multiply all these and you will find the value is 3.29. This value is 3.29 into 10 to the power minus 4 atmosphere. So the value of Kp is 3.29 10 to the minus 4 atmosphere. Okay. So note down. Next come to question number 2. At 700 Kelvin, the equilibrium constant Kp for the reaction to SO3 gas to SO2 gas plus O2 gas is 1.8 10 to the minus 3 kilopascal. What is the value of Kc at the same temperature? Okay. So equation is given 2SO3 gas give rise to 2SO2 gas plus O2 gas. Then what is the value of del Mg? Here also del Mg is equal to 3 minus 2, that is 1. So 3 moles of gaseous mole and 2 gaseous moles, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. And again we know Kp is equal to Kc into RT to the power del Mg, that is RT to the power 1. And given, what is given to you? What is the value of Kc is asked to you, and given kilopascal, what is the Kp value is given, the Kp is given to you. So Kc is equal to Kp by RT to the power del Mg. So what is the value of Kp? Kp value is given 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 3 kilopascal. Kilopascal means that is 1.8 10 to the minus 3 kilopascal divided by R into T. So R value, so suppose I am substituting the value 8.314, that is joule, Kelvin inverse, mole inverse, joule, Kelvin inverse, mole inverse, and T value is given, that is 700 Kelvin. 700 Kelvin. So 1.8 10 to the minus 3 kilopascal. Kilopascal means 10 to the power minus 3 kilopascal. That is equal to 1 pascal. Okay. So that is 1.8. So this is in this way 1.8. When 1 pascal is equal to 1 Newton meter minus 2. This is the pressure, Newton per meter square. So 1.8 Newton meter minus 2 divided by joule, and again 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton meter. Force into distance. So in this way it is 8.314 Newton meter, and again Kelvin inverse, mole inverse, and 700 Kelvin. So Kelvin, again this unit cancels. So this 1.8 by 8.314 Newton meter into 700. So multiply these and divide from 1.8, and you will get the answer is 3.09 into 10 to the power. So you can calculate 3.09 into 10 to the power. So mole inverse comes here. It will mole 3.09 10 to the minus 7. So Newton cancel, meter minus 2, and meter is there, meter minus Q. So Kp is equal to this much. In this way you can solve this problem. So if Kc is given, then Kp find out. If Kp is given, then you can find out what is the value of Kc. Next come to another type of question, that is question number 1. In question number 1, an equilibrium system for the reaction between hydrogen and iodine to give hydrogen iodide at 670 Kelvin in a 5 liter flask contains 0.4 mole of H2, 0.4 mole of I2, and 2.4 mole of hydrogen iodide. Calculate the equilibrium constant. So we know what is the equation for this. The equation is H2 gas plus I2 gas or hydrogen iodine to give 2HI gas. And what is the value of Kc? So we know this Kc or equilibrium constant K is moles per liter is given, moles is given. So what is the value of Kc? So in terms of molar concentration, we know this is the ratio of product of molar concentration of product species to the reactant species. So Kc is equal to Hi molar concentration square divided by H2 into I2. So two types of question in this case may be given. Either it may be given what is the concentration of concentration of these reactants in products at equilibrium, or it may given the initial concentration. If it is given the initial concentration, then you have to find out what is the concentration at equilibrium. But in this matter, there is no problem because it is already given how many number of moles are present at equilibrium. Condition is given and equilibrium system is given. So as it is given an equilibrium system, the equilibrium, what are the concentration, it is given. But it is given only moles and the container is of 5 liter flask. Then first you have to find out what is the molar concentrations at equilibrium condition. So this is the equation first. Suppose give it equation number 1. Then what is the concentration of H2? H2 is 0.4 by 5 moles per liter. Okay, so 0.4 by 5, you will get this answer is 0.08 mole liter inverse. Similarly, concentration of I2, it is also 0.4 by 5, it is 0.08 mole liter inverse, and concentration of HI that is given 2.4 by 5. So this value you can find out. This is 0.48 mole liter inverse. Okay. So these values are given. Then substituting these values in equation 1. Substituting these values in equation 1. Now Kc is equal to Hi 0.48. No need to write the square bracket here. 0.48 square divided by 0.08 into 0.08. 0.08 into 0.08. Okay, so this value you can calculate this, that is 0.48 and 0.48, 0.08 and 0.08. Otherwise 0.48 into 0.48 divided by 0.08 into 0.08. So this value 6 and this is value 6, that is equal to 36. So the Kc value is 36. Here the unit is mole liter inverse, moles per liter square, moles per liter, moles per liter. So here also mole per liter square, here also mole per liter square. In this way, in this case, this Kc is unitless, only a number that is unitless. Okay, so in this way you can find out what is the value of Kc. Let us solve some other type of numerical problems starting from 6. For the reaction N2 gas 3H2 gas 2NH3 gas at 400 Kelvin, Kp is this much. Find the value of Kp for each of the following reactions. So look at the relation between this equation and this equation. So this equation N2 gas 3H2 gas 2NH3. So what is the equilibrium constant for this? Kp is equal to partial pressure of NH3 square divided by the partial pressure of N2 and partial pressure of H2 to the power 3. So this value is this much. And what is the value of this? For this equation, what is the value of? So suppose this is Kp and another is Kp dash. So Kp dash is equal to partial pressure of N2, partial pressure of H2Q divided by partial pressure of ammonia. In this way, what is the value here? And this value is just reverse as just the inverse of this. So as this is the reciprocal of this, in this way here Kp is 1 by Kp dash or Kp dash is 1 by Kp. So here Kp value is given, then what is the value of Kp dash? For this reaction A is equal to Kp dash Pn2 PH2Q by PnH3 square. So this is 3 plus 1 PnH3 square. Then what is the value of this? So this value is given 41. In this way, Kp dash is equal to 1 by 41. So just divide 1 by 41 and you will find this value is 0.024. 0.024. So what is Kp dash? Kp dash is equal to 0.024. Okay. Next come to part B. So the part B, for this part B, what is the value? Half N2, 3 by 2H2, 2NH3. Suppose this is Kp double dash. Kp double dash. So in this way, if you write this is not NH3. Half N2, 3 by 2H2, half N2, 3 so 3H. This is NH3. So what is Kp dash? The Kp dash is NH3, partial pressure of NH3 divided by partial pressure of N2 to the power half, partial pressure of H2 to the power 3 by 2. So what is the value given here? What is the value given? This is just a square root term. This is just a square root term. In this way, Kp double dash is square root of Kp. Or it is square root of Kp, or we can say that is equal to Kp to power half. So in this way, Kp double dash that is equal to, so Kp value is given, that is 41 root over. So 41, so L2 3s to this much is given 41. So 41 root over, this is nearly equal to 6.4. Okay, so this value is nearly equal to 6.4. Next come to, that is your option C. In option C, again this is given, that is Kp suppose triple dash. Kp triple dash, that is NH3, partial pressure of NH3 to the power 4th by partial pressure of N2 square into partial pressure of H2 to the power q. So this is equal to, what is given on Kp to the power 2. That is P of 2 and Pn2 and Ph2 to the power 3 is given. So this is 6. Ph2 to the power 6. So in this way, Kp dash is equal to this one. This is Kp square. That is equal to 41 square. So 41 square, this value just multiply 1681. So here the Kp dash value is 1681. In this way, what is given, the Kp value, if the equation, the coefficients are changed, or if the equation is inversed, then what is the equilibrium constant, you can calculate in this way. Okay. Next come to question number 2. 2 moles of PCl5 were heated at 327 degrees Celsius in a closed 2 liter vessel, and when equilibrium was achieved, PCl5 was found to be 40% dissociated into PCl3 and chlorine. Find out the value of Kc. So this question is different type. So one thing is that at equilibrium, what is the concentration is given, just substitute the value of concentration, then you can find out what is your Kc. But here the value at equilibrium is not given, but the initially given. How many moles are there and what is the volume of the container. Only the initial condition is given. But how to solve this type of is given? So first you have to find out what is the concentration at the equilibrium position. So first PCl5 give rise to PCl3, all are in gaseous form, write down, plus Cl2 gas. And initially these are taken 2 moles and these are products are 0. And at equilibrium, so what happens at equilibrium? At equilibrium, 40% of PCl5 dissociated. 40% of PCl5 dissociated. That means from 100, that is 40%, from 2 moles. How much? 40 by 100 into 2. That is 0.8 mole. So 0.8 mole is dissociated. From 2 mole, 0.8 mole of PCl5 dissociated. So how much remain then? So then remain at equilibrium. This is 2 moles initially present and 40% is dissociated. To it I can write is 0.8 mole. So in this way, that is 2 minus 0.8 mole. And it is found that this is 0.8 mole of it present. 0.8 mole dissociated, that means remain only 2 minus 0.8 mole. Look here, if 1 mole of PCl5 gives 1 mole of PCl3 and 1 mole of chlorine, similarly 0.8 mole dissociated. If 0.8 mole dissociated, how much of PCl5 remain? The PCl5 remain, that will be 0.8 mole, and the chlorine will also form 0.8 mole. So this is 0.8 mole, this is 0.8 mole. Okay, to this I can also write 2 into 1 minus 0.4. Okay, So but this is known as the degree of dissociation, and alpha is the number of moles, total number of moles, and what is number of parts dissociated? 40 by 100. So 40 by 100, this is known as the degree of dissociation. So 1 minus 0.4. In this way also you can write. So 2 minus 0.8 mole, or you can write 2 into 1 minus 0.4. This will find out the common factor to 1 minus 0.4 also. So if 0.8 mole is reacted or dissociated, then how much remain? It is 2 minus 0.8 mole. And how much of PCl5 will form? It is this much of 0.4. So you can also write 2 into 0.4 and 2 into 0.4. In this way also, this is another way of expression that is called C into 1 minus alpha. And about this we will discuss in the next chapter how to write like this. Okay, so 2 is 0.8 mole, 0.8 mole and 0.8 mole of these are present. These are another way of expressing. Okay. Then, what is the molar concentration of then PCl5? So the molar concentration of PCl5, 2 minus 0.8 is 1.2 by 2, because vessel is 2 liter, number of moles per liter 1.2 by 2, that is 0.6 mole liter inverse, and PCl3 concentration 0.8 by 2, that is 0.4 mole liter inverse, and chlorine concentration that is equal to 0.8 by 2, 0.4 mole liter inverse. So here what is the concentration at equilibrium we have find out. Another thing, this may be given in the previous case H2 and I2, this concentration will be given, but here we have to find out. So in this case. Now what is the value of Kc then? So the value of Kc is then, equation is this one, this way, PCl3 Cl2 concentration by PCl5 concentration, that is 0.4 into 0.4 divided by 0.6. 0.4 by 0.6 mole liter inverse in this way. So this mole liter inverse, this is also mole liter inverse. So multiply this and divide by 0.6 and you will find out this answer is 0.267 mole liter inverse. So in this way you can solve this type of problem. Look at question number 1. The following concentration were obtained for the formation of ammonia from N2 and H2 at equilibrium at 500 Kelvin. N2, H2 and NH3 is given. Calculate the equilibrium constant. So here the molar concentrations are already given at equilibrium. Obtained from NH3 into H2 so at equilibrium. So this is given at equilibrium and temperature is also given. So in this way, you have to find out easily. That is first write down the equation. N2 plus 3H2 give rise to 2NH3 gas. Then what is the value of Kc? NH3 concentration square by N2 concentration, H2 concentration to the power 3. So NH3 is given 1.2 10 to the power minus 2. M means moles per liter, and N2 is given 1.5 to the power 2, 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 into this given H2 3.2 10 to the power minus 2, 3.2 10 to the power minus 2 to the power cube. Okay, so multiply all this value, calculate, and you will find the answer is 3.55 into 10 to the power. So 3.55 into 10 to the power 2 minus 2 to the power 3 minus 2 to the power 4. In this you can find 355 10 to the power 2. Okay, so in this way you can solve this type of problem. Now come to another term, that is reaction quotient. So what is reaction quotient? Suppose I have written A of A reaction generally B of B give rise to C of C and D of D. Then this is the reversible reaction. At any stage of the reaction, what is the ratio of molar concentration of the product to the molar concentration of the reactant at any stage of the reaction is known as reaction quotient, represented as QC, or it may be represented as QP if partial pressure terms are taken. So PD to the power D and PA to the power A and PB to the power B. So there is similarities between equilibrium constant and reaction quotient, but the difference is the equilibrium constant K is determined only at equilibrium condition. So this is at equilibrium condition. But Q is represented at any stage of the reaction. So this is the difference. That means when Q is equal to K, that means the reaction is at equilibrium. So this is the constant, and this is the constant at a particular temperature for a particular reaction. This is constant for a particular reaction at a particular temperature, but this value is different. So if this Q is equal to K, then we can say this reaction is at equilibrium. So this Q determines what is the extent of a reaction, and the reaction will further proceed in which direction. Okay, so if Q is less than K, so you know this is product by reactant. So the product by reactant, if Q is less than K means, so what is the more amount? So this value is less means more amount of reactants are there. So as the more amount of reactants are there, then to achieve the equilibrium, the reaction will shift towards forward. The reaction will move towards backward. So more amount of product will be formed. More amounts of products, more amount of reactants are there, and to achieve this value K, more amount of products should be formed. So that to achieve this equilibrium, the reaction will shift towards the forward direction. Similarly, if Q is greater than K, from that we conclude that more amount of products are there. And to achieve the reaction will shift backward. The reaction will shift backward, or the equilibrium shift backward, so that more amount of reactant can be formed. That means if we total, this is the phi, and this is for the equilibrium. If the equilibrium, this is the Q. So this is K and this is the Q. Then to achieve this, it has to move in this direction. And if Q is present here, then it has to move here. So in this way, this reaction quotient determines what is the extent of reaction, and the reaction will further proceed in which direction. Okay. So note down what is the reaction quotient. So reaction quotient, it predicts the direction of reaction. Reaction quotient may be defined as the ratio of molar concentrations of partial pressure of the product species to that of the reactant species at any stage of the reaction. So for a reversible gaseous reaction, A of A plus B of B, C of C and D of D, the mathematical expression is same for equilibrium constant as well as the reaction quotient. So QC, C to the power C, D to the power D, A to the power A into B to the power B, and QP, PC to the power C, PD to the power D, PA to the power A, and PB to the power B. But difference is that equilibrium is at only equilibrium condition, where all the terms seems to be constant, but this is at any stage of the reaction, initial, final, or any stage of the reaction. If Q is equal to K, then the reaction is at equilibrium. So if Q, so no change in concentration of the reactant and product with respect to time. If Q is greater than K, so if Q, this is Q and K, if Q is greater than K, then to achieve the equilibrium, more amount of product will form with the reactant. The reaction will move backwards. Then the product percentage amount in the reactant. Therefore, the reaction will proceed more in backward direction to attain equilibrium. So, to attain the equilibrium, this will be less, this will be less, the product will move towards the reactant. And if Q is less than K, then the reactants are present in large amount than the products. Therefore, the reaction will proceed in forward direction to attain equilibrium. The reactant will give product, that is forward reaction. Okay, so this is about some idea about the reaction quotient. Next come to Le Chatelier's principle. Next come to factors influencing equilibrium, that is given by Le Chatelier's, that is known as Le Chatelier's principle. Suppose a system is in equilibrium, it is subjected to change in either some concentration or temperature or pressure, or if we add some catalyst at the equilibrium, then what happens to the reaction condition? So that is given by Le Chatelier's. So this states that if a system in equilibrium is subjected to change in concentration, temperature and pressure, then the equilibrium will shift in that direction so as to reduce or to cancel the effect of change. Okay, so that means suppose this is actually applicable to find out the qualitative how the products are formed, qualitative formation of the product, and it is also helpful for different physical processes and chemical reactions. Let us first understand what are the effect of concentration, temperature and pressure, then we will write down its points. So first suppose effect of change in concentration. Effect of change in concentration. Look here some example. Suppose N2 gas plus 3H2 gas give rise to 2NH3 gas, and this reaction is an equilibrium condition. And then what is the equilibrium constant? K is equal to, that is NH3 square by molar concentration of N2 into molar concentration of H2 to the power 3. Okay. Suppose you know that equilibrium constant is a constant for a particular reaction at a particular temperature. Suppose we want to change the concentration of either N2 or H2. Then what happens? If we increase the concentration of N2 and H2, then the K will be this value, the reaction quotient value will be less. So as the reaction quotient value is less, that means the equilibrium will then shift forward so that more amount of ammonia will be formed. So Q is there, and if Q is less than K, so to achieve this, more amount of products will be formed. If the concentration, if you increase the N2 and H2 is higher, then that if you add some amount of nitrogen and hydrogen, if the concentration of N2 or hydrogen increase, then the K value should be less. Actually, that is the reaction quotient, the Q value will be less. And to achieve the equilibrium, the concentration of NH3 should be high. So the concentration of NH3 should be high. So to increase the concentration of NH3, automatically the equilibrium shift in forward direction so that more amount of ammonia will be formed. Similarly, if you add some more amount of ammonia there, start from here and add more amount of ammonia here. So if you add more amount of ammonia here, then what happens? Then the Q value, what is the ratio at any state, that is known as a reaction quotient. So what is the concentration of a product by reactant, this reaction quotient, if you increase this value, the product value, then the reaction quotient value, that will be higher than K. So if this value is higher than K, then the reaction will proceed backward. Already I have discussed what is the reaction quotient. If Q is greater than K, then the reaction will move backward. That means if this value is higher, then to get the constant value of K, the N2 and H2 value should increase. So if this value you increase, then this value should automatically increase. And we can say the equilibrium will shift backward. So that means what is the conclusion? Increase in concentration of either of the reactants, the equilibrium will shift forward, forming more amount of products. Similarly, or decrease in concentration of so increase in concentration of reactants or decrease in concentration of the product, the equilibrium will shift forward, forming more amount of product. Similarly, if you increase the concentration of product or you decrease the concentration of reactant, then the equilibrium will shift backward, forming more amount of N2 and H2, so that the equilibrium constant will remain constant. Okay, so in this way, the reaction, the equilibrium will shift either forward or backward depending on what are the change in concentration. Similarly, let us take another example. Suppose H2 gas plus I2 gas give rise to 2HI gas. And here also, if we increase the concentration of hydrogen and iodine, more amount of HI will be produced. Similarly, if we increase the concentration of HI, then dissociation of HI takes place and more amount of H2 and I2 will be formed. Okay. Next come to what is the effect of temperature. Okay, so actually this reaction proceeds in such a direction so as it can reduce the effect of change. So by changing the concentration, temperature or pressure, what actually changes takes place to reduce that effect, general equilibrium shift in another direction. Okay, so for example, look here, same, this is the effect of change of temperature, effect of change of temperature. Suppose same reaction N2 gas plus 3H2 gas give rise to 2NH3 gas and it gives 92.4 kilojoule of heat. Okay, look here. So what is the effect? So always the equilibrium wants to decrease the effect of change. The effect of change. So by changing temperature, what is the effect takes place? To cancel that effect, the equilibrium shift in another direction. Look here. So this reaction is exothermic in forward and this reaction is endothermic in backward. So in forward, this one is exothermic. In backward, this one is endothermic. So if you increase the temperature of the system, then the equilibrium will shift in that direction where the temperature is absorbed. Okay? Or the heat is absorbed. Actually, where the heat is absorbed. So by changing the temperature, the equilibrium shift in that direction where heat energy is absorbed. But look here, N2 gas, 3H2 gas give rise to 2NH3 gas plus some amount of heat. So it gives heat. Then if we supply heat, then how this reaction can be possible? So in this way, by increasing the temperature, the equilibrium will shift towards endothermic, and by decreasing temperature, the equilibrium shift towards exothermic. So in this case, N2 gas plus 3H2 gas 2NH3 gas plus 92.4 kilojoule of heat. So if this reaction is exothermic in forward and endothermic in backward. So if we increase the temperature, then the equilibrium will shift backward because backward is endothermic. Increase in temperature, so dissociation of ammonia takes place so that more amount of nitrogen and hydrogen gas will be produced. And if we decrease the temperature at equilibrium condition, then more amount of ammonia will be formed. Nitrogen hydrogen reacts and more amount of ammonia will be formed. So we can say the equilibrium will shift forward for more amount of ammonia and the equilibrium shift backward if we decrease the temperature. Similarly, another is N2 gas plus O2 gas give rise to 2NO gas minus 180 kilojoule of heat. So this reaction is endothermic in nature. Okay. So here it absorbs gas, some amount of N2 gas or O2 gas plus 180 kilojoule of heat. When it absorbs, it will give 2NO gas plus 2NO gas. Okay, so in this way, so in this direction, this one is exothermic, exo, and in this direction, this one is endo, because it absorbs much of heat and gives endo. So similarly, if you increase the temperature, in this case, if you increase the temperature, then the equilibrium will shift backward, and if you decrease the temperature, the equilibrium, if you decrease the temperature, the equilibrium shift backward, and if you increase the temperature, the equilibrium shift forward. So these two are reverse conditions. This example and this example, these two are reverse. So increase in temperature shifts the equilibrium. Increase in temperature shifts the equilibrium towards endothermic reaction, and decrease in temperature shifts the equilibrium towards exothermic reaction. So decrease in temperature, it gives N2 and O2, and increase in temperature, it gives NO. Okay, clear? Now, next come to what is the effect of change in pressure. Okay, so effect of change in pressure. Effect of change in pressure. So pressure is actually applicable in that condition if one of the reactant or product is in gaseous state. Because you know, by applying pressure, the solid and the liquid, they do not have change in volume appreciably. So in this way, effect of pressure is applicable only in that case if all the reactant, if one of the reactant or product is in gaseous form, and another, the number of moles of the reactant that should not be equal to number of moles of the product, or we can say number of moles of the reactant that should not be equal to number of moles of the product. Then only the pressure change is applicable to it. Look here. So if the system is gaseous, if we increase the pressure of the equilibrium condition, then what happens? If we increase the pressure, then the volume will decrease. And as the volume decreases, then the number of moles per unit volume increases. So by increasing pressure, the number of moles per unit volume increases. So according to Lichat's principle, it wants to decrease the effect. In this way, the equilibrium will shift in that direction where less number of gaseous moles are present. Similarly, if we decrease the pressure, then the volume increases, and hence the equilibrium will shift in that direction where more number of gaseous moles are present. Okay. Again, so increase in pressure shifts the equilibrium in that direction where less number of gaseous moles are present, and decrease in pressure shifts the equilibrium in that direction where more number of gaseous moles are present. And pressure has no effect if there is no change in gaseous moles. Okay, look here. Same example, N2 gas, 3H2 gas give rise to 2NH3 gas. Suppose this is in equilibrium, and if you increase the pressure, so by increasing pressure, the equilibrium shift in that direction where less number of gaseous moles are present. So in this case, if you increase pressure, then the equilibrium shift forward, forming more amount of ammonia, and similarly decrease in pressure shift the equilibrium backward towards more number of gaseous moles. Again another example, PCl5 gas give rise to PCl3 gas plus Cl2 gas. And here two number of moles are there, and here one number of moles are there. So in this way, increase in pressure shifts backward, Increase in pressure, less number of moles. So less number of moles present backward. So backward. And decrease in pressure shift the equilibrium towards forward direction. Okay, are you clear? Next, another thing, look here. Suppose it is given H2 gas plus I2 gas give rise to 2HI gas. So in this case, del Ng is equal to 0. So number of moles here also 2 and here also 2. So change in pressure has no effect. So here change in pressure, it has no effect on equilibrium. So it has no effect on equilibrium, no shift of equilibrium, no effect on equilibrium. So how if we change the temperature, pressure and concentration, then what happens? Now I think it's clear. Next. So next come to what is the effect of addition of catalyst. Suppose you add some catalyst at the equilibrium, or at the starting you use some catalyst, effect of catalyst. So effect of catalyst. Then what happens? So actually no effect on equilibrium position. Only the equilibrium reaches at a faster rate, that is quickly. Equilibrium reaches quickly, but there is no effect on equilibrium position. Next, if some inert gas is added, then what happens? Then come to effect of addition of inert gas. Effect of addition of inert gas. So if the inert gas is added at constant volume, if the inert gas added at constant volume, then there is no change. Okay? Then there is no change on equilibrium position. And if you add inert gas at constant pressure, addition of inert gas at constant pressure, then the equilibrium will shift towards more number of gaseous moles. Okay, so now I think you clear. Now note down what is the principle and what are the important points. So this principle states that if a system under equilibrium is subjected to the change of concentration, temperature and pressure, then the equilibrium will shift in a direction so as to reduce or cancel or undo the effect of change. That means what is the effect caused by this changing? To reduce that effect, the equilibrium shift in the opposite direction. This principle is very much helpful in predicting the qualitatively the effect of change of concentration, temperature and pressure at equilibrium. It is applicable both for physical and chemical equilibrium. Effect of change of concentration. So according to Discharge principle, if the concentration of any of the reactant in a system at equilibrium is increased, then the equilibrium shift so as to decrease the concentration of the reactant to forward, that is forward direction, forming more amount of product. Similarly, increase in concentration of any of the product or decrease in concentration of any of the reactant shift the equilibrium backward, forming more amount of reactant. So the reactant for this, for example, N2 gas, 3H2 gas, 2NH3 gas, increase in concentration of either of N2 or H2 shift the equilibrium forward, favoring the formation of ammonia. Similarly, increase in concentration of ammonia shift the equilibrium backward, forming more amount of N2 and H2. So either increasing of these two, it shifts this direction, or you remove ammonia from time to time, so that the concentration of ammonia will decrease and it will form more amount of ammonia. Similarly, if you either increase the concentration of ammonia or remove nitrogen and hydrogen, then the equilibrium will shift backward, forming more amount of nitrogen and hydrogen. Next, effect of change of temperature. So the temperature of the system at equilibrium is increased, then the equilibrium shifts in the direction in which the added heat is absorbed. So that means with the increase in temperature, the equilibrium shifts in the direction of endothermic reaction, and alternatively, the decrease in temperature shifts the equilibrium in the direction in which heat is produced and thus favors exothermic reaction. So in a system in equilibrium, if it is exothermic in one direction, then it is endothermic in opposite direction. Look at the example. So N2 gas, 3H2 gas, 2NH3, N2. This reaction is exothermic in forward and endothermic in backward. So increase in temperature in this case shifts the equilibrium backward, forming more amount of N2 and H2 or the decomposition of ammonia. Similarly, decrease in temperature shifts the equilibrium forward, forming more amount of ammonia. Similarly, N2 gas, O2 gas, this reaction is endothermic in forward and exothermic in backward. Okay, so in this case, increase in temperature shifts the equilibrium forward. So endothermic increase more amount of NO and then favoring more amount of NO. So forward forming more amount of NO and decrease in temperature shift the equilibrium backward favoring the formation of N2 and O2 or decomposition of N2. Or we can say endothermic reactions are favored by increasing in temperature while exothermic reactions are favored by decreasing in temperature. So note down these. Look here, effect of change of pressure. The effect of change of pressure has importance on equilibrium if the reactants or products, involving gaseous substance with del Ng not equal to 0. So if del Ng equal to 0, then pressure change has no effect. If the del Ng not equal to 0, then the pressure change is effective. And another condition, one of the reactant or product component that should be in gaseous form. According to Litter's principle, increase in pressure of a system at equilibrium will shift the equilibrium in the direction in which pressure is reduced. As the pressure of the gaseous system is increased, the volume occupied by the system decreases, so the total number of moles per unit volume increases. So in order to cancel this stress, the reaction which produces lesser number of moles of gaseous substances will be favored, so that increase in pressure is reduced. So if there is no change in the number of moles of gaseous reactants and products, the pressure change will have no effect on the equilibrium. This if del Ng is equal to 0, pressure change has no effect. So increase in pressure shifts the equilibrium towards lesser number of gaseous moles, and decrease in pressure shifts the equilibrium towards more number of gaseous moles. Look here, N2 gas plus 3H2 gas, 2NH3 gas. In this side, less number of moles. So in this case, increase in temperature shifts the equilibrium forward, forming more amount of ammonia, and decrease in pressure shifts the equilibrium backward, forming more amount of N2 and H2. Similarly, PCl5 gas gives rise to PCl3 gas plus Cl2 gas, going forward 2 moles, and in this direction 1 mole is there. So here del Ng greater than 0, and here del Ng less than 0. So in this case, increase in pressure shifts the equilibrium backward, forming more amount of PCl5. So look here, another two factors, effect of addition of catalyst. So if we add some catalyst, then the equilibrium position is not altered. Okay, so the addition of catalyst does not disturb the equilibrium. However, it helps to attain the equilibrium faster or quickly. So effect of addition of inert gas. So if some inert gas is added at constant volume, so that means number of moles of gas per unit volume that will not change. In this way, at no change in concentration, there is no change in the equilibrium position. But if the addition of inert gas takes place at constant pressure, then there is constant pressure, some more amount is added. So in this way, when inert gas is added, the system in equilibrium at constant pressure, then the equilibrium shift in a direction in which there is more number of gaseous moles. So this is an important long question for you. Okay, and there are also some applications on Lee-Chapman's principle. And what are the applications we will discuss in next class.